Hello my viewers, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Daily Express. Please do well to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. Also, on Monday 20th January 2025, following his inauguration in Washington as the 47th President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald Trump went desperate to pen his signature on a flurry of executive orders, memorandums, and proclamations. These actions are welcome in Africa as unjust, provocative, and unfair attacks on poor people, especially black people whose painful history made what is America today. The Trump anti-immigration law, for instance, is unprecedented in the annals of the United States, when millions of so-called undocumented immigrants are to be deported to their various countries of origin, while many right-thinking people and governments across the world have expressed outrage of such an outdated policy. There are those whose hearts are blotted by racism and hatred to the extent that every attack against Africans or black people is good. The New African Charter Initiative (NACI) strongly condemns this brazen act of racism and hatred on poor and defenseless Africans and other nationalities whose contribution to the development of the United States economy cannot go unnoticed. The New African Charter Initiative (NACI) strongly condemns this brazen act of racism and hatred on poor and defenseless Africans and other nationalities whose contribution to the development of the United States economy cannot go unnoticed. NACI condemns also the enabling environment created by the Washington neocons that allows race-fueled attacks to spike in hate-motivated and subhuman fashion-like treatment against Africans all around the globe. No one in the so-called Western democracy has condemned the Trump administration's attacks on African immigrants in the United States because all Africans all over the world are black people. This brutal injustice is happening before the United Nations, while we appeal to Africans on the continent to remain patient and prayerful in the face of these racist and hateful attacks against our brothers and sisters abroad. NACI applauds our authentic leaders in Africa for calling the Trump's immigration miasma neo-Nazis attack against black people. NACI also acknowledges the solidarity of the good citizens of the United States. In the light of this development, we warn that President Trump rescinds his executive orders and cease all deportation of African immigrants from the United States. The Trump administration in Washington must make every effort to protect American values, because deporting African immigrants from the United States would be nobody's interest. Racism and hatred towards Africans are inconsistent with United Nations Charter and other civilized instruments. NACI is very concerned by the damage the Trump deportation order because on Africans, particularly those living in the United States of America. Once President Trump refuses to stop his deportation orders, Africans would have no alternative but to respond justly to this unjust attack on our compatriots living in the United States As a first step, NACI has resolved to do the following. Mr. Trump goes ahead to execute his deportation of Africans in America. First, organize a protest in all African capital cities and towns to demand the removal of all U.S. military bases, personnel and equipment out of Africa and never to be returned. Pack pressure to bear on all African leaders and governments never to allow any flight carrying African immigrants from the United States to land in any African airport until all U.S. military bases, personnel and equipment are removed out of Africa. Organize a protest across Africa to call on African leaders to cease membership in the United States until the world body's governance system becomes democratic and representing all peoples equally, and not only to advance the interests of white peoples. And organize protests across Africa to call on African leaders to cease membership in the United Nations until the world body's governance system becomes democratic and representing all peoples equally, and not only to advance the interests of white peoples. If number 3 is executed, we will further organize protests to demand that Africa has 2 permanent seats in the United Nations Security Council in New York before restoring membership into the world's body. This is our position, and we will not back down only for Africans to be continuously molested abroad. God bless Africa. Africa for Africans, both in Africa and abroad. Alright, my viewers, what was your reaction to this? As Africans calls for the removal of all United States military bases, personnel and equipment out of Africa. Please drop your reaction in the comment section. Ensure you subscribe to our channel and share this report across all news platforms. Right here, Paul here comments. He says, let us hold our leaders accountable to stop looting our commonwealth. The American president has told us the truth. Okay, then another here, Hassan Sani says, Africans should actually reverse engineer Trump's executive orders, plans and lousy comments. No worries, he is only demonstrating his fervent love for his country. Alright, thanks so much for listening. Sure you subscribe to our channel. Bye for now. Do join us in the other news, okay?